Alright, I'm going to show you guys how to make a quick and dirty barn door track for your pole barn, garage, shed, whatever you want. This here is our pump house where we keep the expansion tank and the pump for the deep water well. And I put this barn door up last year, before winter, just to help keep pipes from freezing. Before we had to prop up a full sheet of plywood and then lean logs and bricks up against it. And we have a little incandescent light in there that we turn on that faces the pump, just to make sure that none of the pipes freeze. We are out here on the coast, so we don't really have that big of an issue with hard freezes, but that also means that none of our plumbing is hardened against freezing. So it's just better to be safe than sorry. So let's get to it. I'm not going to show you, a step-by-step process, but I am going to show you all the materials I used and what I did to install this. And if you're on a farm, you should have all this stuff lying around that you can just use at the ready, and this shouldn't cost you nothing. Now the heart of this whole system is a 10-foot T-post, and the size of the T-post you want needs to be twice the width of your door plus about 2 to 4 foot extra. So this is a 4-foot door, so I've got 1 foot, 4 foot, 4 foot, and another 1 foot, so 10-foot T-post. And if you need to, you can sister a couple of them together with a spacer. That shouldn't be a problem. And the way that this works is I just have a piece of 2 by 1/8 bar stock that I drilled 4 holes through down there at the bottom. And I believe these are 1/8 holes, and that is a 3/8, might be a 5/16 hole up there, and I have attached a pulley off of a garage door to it and just bolted that on there. And I've got that with just enough space so that there's about a 1/4 inch clearance next to that flat bar. And I just made 2 of those. And the way this works is once I get this brick out of the way, and if we're lucky, there's a rattlesnake in there. You just push on this handle. The whole thing slides down on the T-post. If you're on a farm or you're just out in the country, you've probably stolen at least 3 street signs in your life, so you should have a T-post lying around. And if you've owned a garage for more than a decade, you've had one of those pulleys go out. And if you kept it, and if you had both go out and you kept both of them, you can use those because they don't need to be in super good condition, as long as they still roll. That's an old worn out one, and that's a brand new one I had to buy because I only had one lying around. And yeah, you can do all this with hand tools. All you need is an electric drill, a set of bits, and some old motor oil. You can drill right through steel. You can just hack through it with a hacksaw or reciprocating saw. And then this door I have here is just 2 scrap sheets of plywood, all treated of course, and 2x4s. And then I went and I was fancy and I put the 2x4 frame together with some corner brackets and some straight brackets, and I had an old fence handle lying around and I stuck that on there. And this is all just put together with some exterior screws. And to make sure that the thing doesn't fall off the end of the track and break, I just have some old bolts, just a nut on one end, just a hex bolt about 1.5 inches long, and I took 2 big honking washers and I've just cranked on this thing and sandwiched that on top of the T-post, and that acts as a stop so that when this slides to the end, it hits that. And because that goes inside of the pulley wants to ride up on top of that, and it can't because it's just too heavy, and it stops. But I guess if you had a really big door and it was really heavy and you pushed it really fast, it could jump off of that track. So there's better ways to do that, but that was the simplest thing I found. And this here is true blue cinder block. You can see the chunks of coal ash in there. So luckily that was pretty easy to drill through. So I just got a masonry bit, and I think those are 3/16 inch screws. They might be 5/32 masonry screws, and I just drove those in there with a washer to hold this to the wall, and that's on there pretty solid. That cinder block, it's very porous, so not all of the, that's why there's extra screws, is not all of these want to bite. So yeah, if you're at a hardware store and you're looking at barn door tracks and you're thinking, man, I don't want to drop a couple $100 on one of these, I don't need nothing fancy, this is a great, cheap, cost-effective alternative, and it works great for our purpose because all we really need it to do is just block off that door and help hold in some heat in the winter. So yeah, I know this isn't biology, but this is just something cool that, once again, it was one of those things that I had a need, and I looked around, and I just could not find any like good how-tos on how to do something simple and easy with common hand tools and common hardware that anyone can find at a scrapyard for free. So I decided to build this on my own, and I didn't record that, but now I am. So yeah, that's all you need. You need 10-foot T-post, 2 garage door pulleys, a set of 1/4 or 5/16 bolts, a box 1 5/8 or 2-inch exterior wood screws, and you know, what's that, 16 foot of 2x4 and a sheet of plywood, and you can make yourself a barn door on a barn door track. It works great. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Tom's biological videography, and this is videography, but it ain't biology. So like and subscribe, do all that jazz. Thanks for watching. See you around. Tom out.